Introduction. Royal marriage contracts when love was illegal. For most of human history, marriage among royalty had little to do with love. Kings, queens, princes, and princesses were not free to choose their partners. Instead, marriage was a political contract, carefully negotiated, legally binding, and enforced by the power of the state. In royal courts across the world, love was often irrelevant and sometimes illegal. Chapter 1. Marriage as a Political Weapon. Royal marriage contracts were designed to secure alliances, prevent wars, and consolidate power. A wedding could unite rival kingdoms, claim disputed land, or guarantee military support. These agreements were written long before the bride and groom ever met, often when they were still children. In medieval Europe, marriage contracts listed dowries and territorial claims, military obligations, succession rights, conditions for annulment. Breaking such a contract could result in war. Marriage was not personal, it was international diplomacy. Chapter 2. Children traded like property. Many royal marriages involved children. Princesses as young as 5 or 6 were promised to foreign rulers decades older. The marriage itself might be delayed, but the contract was legally binding. One of the most famous examples is Margaret of Austria, promised at age 3 to the French king. She was sent to France to be raised as a future queen, only to be rejected years later when political alliances shifted. Her personal feelings never mattered. Chapter 3. The Habsburg Obsession. No family illustrates political marriage better than the Habsburg dynasty. Their strategy was simple. Let others wage war. You, happy Austria, marry. By marrying cousins and close relatives, they expanded their empire across Europe without fighting. The cost was genetic disaster. Generations of inbreeding led to deformities, infertility, and mental illness. Charles II of Spain, the last Habsburg king, was so genetically damaged that he could barely speak or rule. His death without an heir triggered the War of the Spanish Succession, proving how deeply marriage contracts shaped history. Chapter 4. Love as Treason. Royal lovers were often treated as criminals. Secret relationships could threaten dynastic stability and were seen as acts of betrayal. In England, Henry VIII's marriages were tightly controlled political acts. When Anne Boleyn failed to produce a male heir, she was executed on charges many historians believe were fabricated. Her real crime was political failure, not adultery. Even worse was Catherine Howard, executed for loving another man. Her feelings were treated as treason against the crown. Chapter 5. Forced marriages across cultures. Royal marriage contracts were not unique to Europe. In imperial China, princesses were married to foreign rulers to maintain border peace. These women often lived as hostages, far from home, forbidden from returning. In the Ottoman Empire, marriage within the royal family was tightly restricted. Instead, sultans took concubines, whose sons competed violently for succession. Love was irrelevant. Power determined survival. Chapter 6. Women Trapped by Law. Royal women suffered the most. A queen's primary duty was to produce heirs. Failure could mean exile, imprisonment, or death. Divorce was rare and scandalous, often requiring religious approval. Eleanor of Aquitaine, one of the most powerful women in medieval Europe, was imprisoned by her husband Henry II for supporting her son's rebellion. Her marriage had brought him vast lands, but also absolute control over her life. Chapter 7. The slow death of contracted love. By the 18th and 19th centuries, Enlightenment ideas began to challenge dynastic marriages. Romantic choice slowly entered royal life, though resistance remained strong. When Edward VIII of Britain chose love over duty by marrying Wallis Simpson, he was forced to abdicate in 1936. Even in the modern age, love could still cost a crown. Chapter 8. Conclusion. Royal marriage contracts shaped borders, started wars, and destroyed lives. They remind us that power once ruled even the most intimate human choice. For centuries, kings and queens were prisoners of their own crowns, bound not by love, but by law. In royal history, marriage was never a promise of happiness. It was a contract of control.